All right, so welcome, beautiful people. This is your host, Matthew, from the Day and Night Podcast, episode number 103. Hopefully, everybody enjoying themselves. And another beautiful weekend here in Georgia. Not as hot, thank God, but it's still a beautiful weekend. I don't know if y'all can see, but I got a nice little tan from burning up in Cincinnati last week and watching the Eagles take care of the little Bengals. But we got another good one for y'all today. Hopefully everybody enjoy it. As always, like, subscribe, comment if you can, share if you can. And we're going to kick it to Mark in San Antonio. What you got?
Well, just want to say hello, everybody. Beautiful Saturday as well here in San Antonio. It was rain earlier, but now it's nice out. Just appreciate y'all guys for tuning in. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Chime in if you feel like it's something that you want to discuss, and just stay engaged, guys. Like I always say, it's good to get feedback from you guys and see where y'all point of view and see how y'all feel about it. So other than that, I'm gonna say less. I'm ready to get it going. This one's gonna be, as all of them, is interesting and pretty deep. But this one's gonna be, I'm gonna have a lot of opinions. And I talked to a friend today, and we didn't get into it, but we definitely didn't agree on the situation. So what I'm gonna say, a lot of people ain't gonna like it. But that's the whole point of this, is to everybody put their point across, and we have to be open-minded and be respectful. We don't have to like it, but just get that everybody's point of views is different. So on that note, Matt, I'm gonna let you kick it off and do what you do.
All right, all right. All right, so it's always beautiful people. I always say, I've been thinking. So I was like trying to figure out what would be a good topic to talk about, because we talked about almost everything under the sun. So I was coming back from the gym and I was watching a couple of videos on, dare I say, TikTok and YouTube. And it was a couple of things that kind of startled me. I'm going to be straight up. Like, it started to boil my blood because it got to me that bad. So, Mark, I don't know if you've seen it, but one of the instances was in it was a polling station. I don't know what state it was, but it was all ran by women. And it was this dude in there, white dude. And the way they started the video, he was just cussing these ladies out. So I don't know why he was cussing them out. I don't know what happened, but dude was totally disrespectful. And it was all black women. I think it was a Latino there and maybe one Caucasian lady. But he was just going in, and he just called it like dropping F bombs and calling her a B and this and that. And dude was like ready to fight one of the women. And dude was kind of big. He was a heavy set guy, about maybe 6'1", 6'2". And these women trying to hold him back. And he's just going at this woman. And I don't know if he had a MAGA hat on or something like that. And dude, like I said, dude was just being disrespectful. And then it was another event I saw where it was a protest or a rally. And they had, I don't know if it was an actual black woman, but he had somebody dressed up like Kamala Harris, and they had her chained to a back of a vehicle, and they was driving down the street. And of course, people was, screaming explicits to her and stuff like that. And the lady that was actually like narrating the video was in tears. So that just brought to my attention. And that's the question. That's the topic of the day. Are you ready for the next president? Regardless who it's going to be, I think it's going to really, really bring up or bring out the truth in everybody, more so maybe one side than the other. And, people are already acting a fool. And I just saw another video, whereas I don't know if it's true or not. I don't try to tend to believe social media that much, but supposedly they're activating the National Guard Monday, just in case. So it just brought to my mind, it's just crazy for me. I don't know about anybody else, but when I sit back and think about it, here it is. We're a country of one, supposed to be a country of one. Regardless if you have a Democratic Party or a Republican Party, your president is supposed to be about everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it's clearly Trump is making this about two different people, solely white people. I'm just going to say it and be upfront. I don't care what nobody says. He's for white people. He don't care about blacks. He don't care about Hispanics. He don't care about Latinos. He don't really say much about Asians. He don't like Middle Eastern people. And it's clearly that he's causing a divide. Now I know, Mark, you said this many a times. You was like he's an influencer, which he is. But I still look at the people because one man can say anything, but that wasn't Trump that was pulling the people. I mean, pulling this woman behind the car, acting like it was Kamala Harris. It wasn't
Right.
Trump that was in the polling station cussing out them women.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, he could rile up these people, but I think you said this before. He's just instilling confidence in these people to come out. So if he don't win, we still have these people that's living amongst us, that's in leadership positions,
Yeah.
that really are treating us a certain type of way, or anybody of minority race, and is eye opening to me. And that is what I'm paying more attention to, because that's one person. Like I said, if he don't win, he's gone. He's still going to be doing his stuff, but we still have to deal with these people that's living undercover. And this is the one positive thing that I do see about this whole thing is he's bringing them out to light. So if any silver lining out of this whole thing, I think he's more or less exposing those people that was hiding. So now we know. And like I said, it's CEOs, it's people in important positions that are clearly straight up racist. And now they're starting to come out. Now, hopefully it don't go to the side of violence or anything like that. But it's going to be really interesting. So I'm gonna kick it to you, get your perspective and stuff, and I have a
Yeah.
strong opinion about another aspect of it.
Yeah. So I didn't get the the chance to see those videos, but I know it's out there. I know people are wilding out and everybody's having their strong opinions. Like you did say, I do always say that he's an influencer. He know how to incite people, get people to. I always say he speaks for people that's scared to speak or how they truly feel, and because he does it so vigorously and all the time, is bringing the confidence of these people out. And now, like you just said, I was about to say that he's bringing out everybody that's been in the closet or under the wraps or low key, whatever word you want to choose, to show their true colors. And yeah, if you don't win, it's going to still be issues. I think for probably the first couple of months, because you're going to have people that's upset. And I feel like I was talking to a lady friend, and I asked her, I said, "Do you feel like if Kamala wins, do you feel like people going to have more of an attitude versus when Obama won because she's black, or because she's black and she's a woman?" And then I asked her, "Did you vote just because she's a woman, or did you vote because you felt like overall Trump is not the ideal candidate?" And then she was like, "Well, I voted because she's a woman. She was truthful. She was very transparent." And then she also said she just don't believe in Trump. And she pretty much said the same thing you just said. So I said, okay, and then she asked me, "Are you going to vote?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to be the last minute man and vote on Tuesday because a lot of people already voted." And I said, "You know what?" I said, honestly, I wasn't going to vote. So we kind of got into it. And she was like, "Well, you need to vote because that's your right that, we fought for, and we need to express ourselves and vote for who we believe in." I said, "What if you don't believe in neither one of them?" I said, "Yeah, granted, I'm voting, but I'm not voting with confidence. I'm just voting to be contrary because I don't like Trump." So I said, "If I don't follow politics like that, I'm just going to vote just to be voting." And I think it's a lot of people out there that's going to be voting because they don't want to see Trump in there. And I mean, that's your business. Everybody have their own conviction on why they want to do what they want to do. So I'm not judging nobody, but I'm just saying that this election to me is going to be misconstrued. As we all know, it's not even our votes is going to count. It's the electoral vote, the electoral votes, which is
Yeah.
the college vote. So regardless, it's more of a popularity is our votes. That's basically what that's going to be. And I think it's going to be just like the Obama. It's going to be a tight race. And I mean, I don't know. I just feel like, and I watched the show. I don't know if you saw it. It was called Black Democrats or Black Voters, and they had Michael Ealy on there. The comedian with the raspy voice. What is that dude's name? God, I think he turned into a politician because I don't never see him do comedy anymore. He's always talking about politics. But it was a good show because they had a panel of
Mm-hmm.
all black actors and they was up there talking and everybody had to voice their opinion. And I think Michael Ealy was Democrat, but D.L. Hughley was, I think, going more Republican. So they was kind of back and forth, and he was saying, "How can you be black and be going Republican?" And then he was saying, "I'm not going for Republicans. I just see some of their views, and the reason why a lot of people are voting is because she's a black woman and not looking at her credentials." So that's where I feel. Where is this election going to be at? I mean, what are we really voting because of what we feel, or because nobody want to see Trump in there? So I feel like it's going to be the same situation all over again with Obama. If we do get her in there, and like I was telling my friend, do you really think they're going to allow her to run this country the way she truly wants to? And if the representative, the House of Representatives are Republicans, you best hang that up. So I know that's not kind of what this topic is about, man, but I just want to kind of put that out there for the back burner to discuss later. But yeah, Trump, the dude is insane. He's crazy. I watched the debate because they replayed it the other day. And that guy, he's something else. And that's why I say he incites people. And I know you say it still lies to the individual, but the way he talks, he's one of those people. If you are a naive person and you really need somebody else to speak for you, he's that guy because the dude don't care. He's gonna say what he wants. Like you say, he's not for black people. He's very prejudiced when he talks about other races. The dude just don't care, and he's bringing out all the people that believe in him, and they gonna be out in the polls voting just because of that. So I think this is gonna be a popularity vote, like all of them are, but this one will be more so than ever because it's a woman and she's a black woman, and it's Trump again. So.
Okay. Now, you brought up some interesting points.
Now, it's funny because some people might push back on this. I'm not voting. I think the only time I ever voted was when Obama was first elected. And I mean, I get the whole thing as far as because I used to, voice that too, was, our ancestors fought for that. People fought for us to have the right to vote. And, KJ just said, good afternoon, and good evening.
Good afternoon.
He said it may be choosing the one that would avoid the worst of the two evils enter the office. Now, this is for me where it gets tricky because we can only go off of a lot of times unless we really sit down and do our history, do our research, and actually research these candidates. So for the first time I've heard Kamala Harris speak, she was on Shannon's podcast.
Oh, I saw that.
And it was a pretty good podcast. And I'm like, they really pulling out the stops. And President Obama was on a pivot with Ryan Clark and them. And the funny thing is, they both basically said the same exact thing. And it's like they're pushing hard to try to get the black votes to vote for her, because there's been rumors out there that most black people are voting for Trump. And he even asked her. He said, "Why is it that Trump is so popular in the black community?" And she couldn't answer the question. She avoided the question, and that was a red flag for me because she totally went around it. And she was like, "Well, let's talk about this." And she had some good points that she spoke on. She only spoke on one thing that she was going to do if she get in office, and that's give a $25,000 stipend for first-time home buyers. But then the rest of it was more or less bashing Trump and speaking on how bad of a president he will be. And she highlighted some things that was like, wow, this dude if anybody vote for him, and if this dude becomes president, that's crazy. So it was just interesting to watch her because it was a different light of seeing her. She was relaxed, and there was laughing and joking and stuff like that. Um, so the other thing I wanted to touch on is Trump. He's a businessman in the sense of he's focusing in on targeting his target audience. And he knows that there's a good population of white Americans that still have the values and belief of how this country first started. And that's what they really want to go back to. And that's what he's targeting. So he's trying to get that audience and get those voters to vote for him. I really do believe he's intentionally doing these things. Because if you watch any clips of him when he was younger, he was a lot more calmer. He wasn't as controversial. He wasn't saying like outlandish things. He spoke on things about Mike Tyson, and he really sounded very contrite and believable. So I was like, damn, is this the same dude? And now it's so over the top for me. It's clearly intentional. He's just he's just saying stuff because it's getting views, it's getting likes, and it's getting attention. So he's using the marketing skill that they teach most people that go to school for business as far as how to focus on your target audience. And that's what he's doing. Now, the bad thing about it is he obviously don't care these people that he's awakening because he's off in his own little place doing his own little thing. And that's what Kamala said. She's like, do you really think Trump think about y'all? Do you really think Trump care about you? Do you think he's going to invite you to his country club? Do you think he's going to invite you into his circle? And that's the thing. He get on here, have 50 Cents and all these black entertainers and celebrities and stuff to be around him. And he's, smiling and joking it up and trying to put in people's mind, oh, but he's down with black people. He's cool. And this dude, Judge Joe Brown, he had the audacity to say, well, Trump ain't so bad. He used to date black women. So how can he be racist and date black women? I think that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Just because you date a certain race does not mean you're not racist. And the point I'm getting to is that I think he's clearly doing this intentionally. I don't think he's just that bad of a person. I think he's a bad person, but I think he's doing it intentionally because he's trying to awaken that community and he's trying to get them out to the polls so that way he has a higher chance of winning because he got that majority of the voters. Now, I did my little research on the Census Bureau as far as what the population. And for the entire United States, there's 334 million people in the United States. 60% of the population are white. Hispanic is 16.8%. Blacks is 11.7%. Asian is 22%. And then multiracial is 2.8%. And then it's Native American is like 0.7%. So out of that 60%, we have to figure out what part of that 60% are the ones that want the United States to be how it was before. And I think that's what he's doing. I'm just throwing the numbers out there. Maybe it's 20, 30%. And that's what he's focusing in on is to pull that 30% so he can get the full 60%. Now, granted, everybody's not going to vote. But if he gets the majority of that 60% and then get a percentage of the black vote and then the Asian and then Latino, Hispanic, he's going to win. So dude know what he's doing as far as marketing and targeting his target audience.
Yeah. So now what I'm about to say is going to probably offend you a little bit, and I'm not justifying anything. I'm just I always use this word. I know some don't like hearing that, devil's advocate, but one thing that I think it was D.L. Hughley that said it. I can't remember who it was. So I don't really want to quote the actual actor or entertainer, but I'm gonna just say it was a quote that was said. Someone said that the funny thing about Trump is where they saying all these black voters are suddenly trying to support him and be on his side. Well, before he became president, and granted, we all know he was an owner, but what else did he do? He was an entertainer, and he had his little reality show, and
Yeah.
it was a lot of black celebrities that was cool with him and down with him.
Hmm.
So I feel like when you made the point about he's popular, he's targeting certain people. He's targeting people because I always say he's an entertainer. He know how to get the right people to be in
Hmm.
tune with him, like you said, waking the beast or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So I feel like these black voters and all these black folks that's all of a sudden saying we want to follow Trump. I think they've been around, but they trying to pin Kamala on her because of her history with the incident when she was a prosecutor with the average black man was going to jail was at a highest rate
Hmm.
when she was in that. So they try to put a lot of black guys against her because of that.
Hmm.
But Trump to me is doing all this as entertainment. And when people say, "What do you mean he's entertaining?" Meaning he don't, like you just say, he don't care. He's going to do what he want to do to get people to act and react a certain way to everything that he says. Because the dude was doing when he was doing his damn show, he was like that, talking crazy and just doing stuff. So to me, what he's doing, I'm not by any means anointing him and saying it's okay or giving him a pass, but he's doing what he's been doing. And that's what the actor was saying. Why everybody acting like this guy is doing something that he never did before? And I know you said, Matt, he was totally different as he is now, and that's my whole point. It's entertaining. He's doing that, like you said. I'm pretty much echoing what you said. He's
Hmm.
doing it purposely to incite certain people because he's always been arrogant. He's always been prejudiced. He always been a racist the way he is. So to me, everything he's doing, I'm not acting surprised by it. I'm not saying it's okay, but it's like this dude been like this. If you ever followed him, he's always been an asshole like that. He's just doing it more now for the simple fact, like you said, is to incite these certain people. Now, of course, that's just my own belief. And he's going to have those people voting. Again, go back to what I said in the beginning of the show. It's going to be a popularity. He's getting people to vote for him just for that. And there's even been rumors that some of these black people, you see the commercials, they paying these jokers to
Oh
say
yeah.
they voting for Trump to make it look like, oh, he got a lot of black supporters when really
Hmm.
these jokers getting paid to do the damn commercial. They don't
Yeah.
even really care. They just get paid, so they're gonna do that. So to me, it's just popularity. Once he's in there, he's gonna already do what the House want him to do. Because I'm gonna touch on this a little bit with
Hmm.
the Project 2025. Now I got into it. I didn't get into it, but when we discussed the politics today, my friend and I, she was saying that 2025 is by Trump, and I said actually is not. It was
It's
built
not.
and created by a Republican. I think it was a senator, and he just said whoever becomes president, Republican, is going to have to follow this mandate.
Hmm.
So that's my whole point. Trump's is going to be a puppet to what the House want him to do
Right.
anyway. And again, he's a spokesperson to incite people, get people riled up, but
Hmm.
he's being told what to do by the House of Representatives. And you say this all the time by these corporations. So that's why I try to tell people, yeah, Trump is an asshole. He's going to be him. But the shit he's doing, he's being controlled to do that. And if you get uh, Kamala in there, I always pronounce her name wrong. I'm going to sit on that. Do you really think she's going to be able to do what she really want to do? So to me, and I'm not just saying, well, just, oh, well, it is what it is, but I'm just saying we all need to think about that when we keep saying, oh, I want Trump or I want her, because either one of them, they are both going to be puppets to what the
Hmm.
House want them to do. The House of Representatives. That's what we need to focus on. And if you got more Republicans in there, you can forget about it. And that's what happened with Obama. He got passed what they wanted him to pass. The things he wanted to do, they vetoed it every time. So to me, that's where I feel like, what are we really going to do with this election? What are we going to benefit from it?
You know what? I'm going to keep harping on this because this is what that's illuminating with me.
My whole thing is it's scary, not scary, but it's eye opening to me. it's the people for me that is going to be the issue, not Trump. Because like I said, these people that was pulling that woman behind that truck with the vice president supposedly in chains, these are people that we go to work with. These are people that are supervisors. These are people that's owners of businesses. These are doctors. These are lawyers. These are police officers. These are freaking politicians, which have more control over us directly than anybody else. And the stuff that he's saying, like the dude, the comedian that made that joke talking about Puerto Rico is trash or whatever, for people to sit there and have somebody, basically, it's still a state of the United States, and basically dump on another state that's supposed to be part of this country and that's clearly causing separation and division, that's eye-opening to me. Because for me, any decent human being should be like, you know what? I don't care what party you part of. As a human being, you're bad. As a human being, you're toxic. I'm not following you regardless. I want somebody that's up there that's going to bring this country together. So for me, for the people to support that, I know you say that he's the influencer. It's the people. They're the ones that have to listen to it and accept it. Like I said, you can have somebody that's talking crazy. If the people don't have that in their mind and their heart, I don't care what that person is saying. It shouldn't resonate with them. So for me, it's the people. It's not him. Because you can have a jackass saying dumb stuff, and if it's not who you are as a person, all it is just somebody bumping their gums. So for me, it's the people, and that's what's eye-opening. Because again, these are the people that we're with daily, that we have to deal with, that has a more direct influence and impact on our lives. That's what he's awakening, and that's what he's riling up. Dude can walk off in the sunset, and he ain't gonna care. Now, again, I don't know how true this is. Supposedly, it was his brother or somebody, and this was a while back. He supposedly claimed that Trump honestly was just doing this just for the hell of it, like you said, for entertainment. And he said he never really expected to win. And when he won, he was shocked. And I don't know if you remember when he won, they had a picture of him sitting in the White House, and he was just sitting there like he was dazed, like, damn, I'm actually the president of the United States.
Right. Yeah.
So his brother, whoever the guy was saying that he wasn't intentionally trying to win. So the point I'm trying to get to is all this is just entertainment to him. I don't think he really gives a rat ass, but because he's bringing out the truth in people. And that's why I say this is a silver lining, because that's, for me, that's the stuff we have to pay attention to, because we're dealing with these people on a daily basis. Like I said, that can have a direct impact. You know, the thing a while back when they're saying it was Chase, I don't know which bank it was, Navy Federal, that they was intentionally not giving blacks home loans. So it's stuff like that that's going to impact us more so than anything else. Like, whether if he wins or if he don't win, these people still going to be amongst us.
Right.
And we can't just go lightly now and say, you know what, Kamala Harris is president, everything is good now, we don't have to worry about him. Yeah, you don't have to worry about him, but you got to worry about the people that believe and think the same way he does. That's the scary part. And that's what I'm focusing in on more than anything else.
Yeah, that's pretty much like I was saying. Like, if she do win, how much confidence do we have and she's going to be able to do everything that she promised? You know, I mean, when I say this again, ladies and gentlemen out there, I am not exonerating or advocating anything. I'm just saying devil's advocate. So, do you really think this country is ready for a woman president and also a black woman president on top of that? Now, you can say with all the movements that women rights have and why not, we just had a black president, years ago, male, but just the way this country still is. Because my friend and I, we was talking, she thought I was being a male chauvinist because we was talking about one of the policies that they was going to push as far as women can't have the right to choose to have abortion. And she was like, "Oh, so you one of them men that's against women's rights, and you don't want men? I mean, you don't want women to be able to make a choice." I said, "No, that's not it. But I'm just saying that this country ain't ready for a woman to be running the country that way, because there's a lot of guys that still have that mentality where, yeah, a woman in place isn't to be doing this." So that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that a woman shouldn't be or can't be a president. I'm just saying, as a whole, the totality of this country, can you see it happening? I can see it happening just because it's a lot of people may not want Trump in there. But as I said again, the House of Representatives is going to give her so much pushback. If it's all Republicans, is it really even going to be beneficial for her to be a president? Because all the trouble, all the problems she's going to have. Now, I'm not trying to discourage nobody on who to vote for. I'm just saying that's something that we really need to think about. Because again, I don't truly believe in just voting to vote to go against the other person. Because I'm gonna say this story real quick. At my job, it's I think he's Filipino or Indonesian or something, but he don't speak English. He just got his citizenship, so he got lucky because a lot of them that work in my job are on a work visa. And I said, he's like, "Did you vote?" I said, "No, I ain't vote yet." I said, "Who did you vote for?" He said, "I voted for Trump." I said, "You voted for Trump, man? You guys getting deported back." But I was just joking with him. And I was like, "Why did you vote for Trump?" He go, "I don't know. I just voted for him." So that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's so many people that Trump knows how to incite them to get them in there to vote. And that's why I'm just sticking on that, to where I feel like this election is going to be so misconstrued on why people are voting. And you said it, and I agree with you 100%. So I'm not going against what you're saying. It's going to fall back on how the people are. Because I totally agree with that. It's going to be the people that's going to be the problem on, not really who wins, but how these people in everyday work and how they act and how they move. Because my friend and I, we had disagreements on, this election. And I'm just like, this is going to be what a lot of other people feel a certain way. And we ain't get real violent or nothing, but it got passionate. So it's going to be other people that's going to be escalating to that next level. So that's why, point being, topic, are you ready for the next president? And that's why I brought that up. Is it's going to be very interesting what happens. I don't think it's going to be like over the top crazy or anything like that, but it's going to be very interesting to me on how people react. Of course, we all going to have to live our lives at some point and keep moving on. I'm not saying the world going to stop because of that, but I'm just really interested to see how this is going to go in the next few months, with this election after the vote comes in who won.
Yeah, so you should, if you get a chance, you should
Check out that interview with President Obama and Kamala Harris.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny because they both focused on a stimulus check. And it was a point of emphasis. And I think this is why she did it, because that's when Shannon asked her the question, why is it that blacks follow Trump or support him so much? And she didn't answer. She's like, well, we need to focus on this. And she was like, when the stimulus checks came out, she was like, that wasn't wasn't Trump that did it. It was
Right.
Congress that already had that in place from when President
Right.
Obama was in place. And he just put his name on it to make it look like he was the one that initiated the stimulus checks. And she was like, he didn't do that. And that's the same thing President Obama said. And it was just interesting because she was on there, I think, when did we go to Cincinnati? I can't remember what day it was. It was Monday or Tuesday. And he was on there the next day on the pivot. And I promise you, they almost basically said exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, I know y'all, I'm focusing on this, but I just have to hit home with this. And it's just some reason, this is just sticking out to me. Is I don't care about Trump in the sense of, I don't think he has that much influence. I just think he's just awakening people. But this is a thing that's just, again, eye-opening to me. Out of all the outlandish things that he had said, and like I said, to me, that's touching home to the character of a person. I don't care if you're white, black, Hispanic, or whatever. If you support something like that, and I'm just going to be straight up, I don't care if people unfollow me, don't like me, don't talk to me ever again. I really don't care. but I am not going to befriend somebody, whether you're a relative or not. If you support somebody that supports or promotes division and separation, that's not a part of me. I don't do it. I don't want to be associated with that. And for me, for anybody, and he's like doing it real worse this time. He's like putting it out in your face, like slapping you and telling you. And people are still like, yeah, I'm going to vote for this guy. So for him to say the things that he's saying and doing the things that he's doing, whether it's for entertainment or not, that's a serious character issue. And if you know somebody that supports that, like I said, I don't care if it's a relative, friend, whatever. Why are you associated with that? And if you associated with it and you accept it, then that's going to have me looking at you side eye. Because what type of character and what type of morals and values do you have if you got people out here demeaning people, disrespecting people just for the sake of it because they want to do it? There's something wrong with that. And I don't want no parts of anybody that walk like that. Like I said before, that's low vibrational people. And I don't want no part of low vibrational. So if this dude wins, anything that goes forward from that, everybody just accept it, shut the hell up, don't bitch and moan. This is what you accepted. And I'm speaking so more to people that's voting for Trump, not the ones that's not voting for Trump. So for me, just the fact that what he represents is that should be a no for that. And I was watching a couple of the shows with Rosie Perez and the Latino community or Puerto Rican community is like, they kind of glad that this did happen because now a lot of the Latinos in Florida, which is the highest population of Puerto Ricans, they have like 1 point, what was it? Florida has 1.2 million Puerto Ricans there. So she was like, yeah. And a lot of the politicians that are Republicans that are Puerto Rican, it was like, just like what I said, that's an issue because this person basically was saying they're shitting on a people, but if it's a joke or not, that's a character issue. And like I said, real people should question that. And like I said, if y'all know anybody that support that and they don't have anything, see nothing wrong with that, disassociate with me. Because like I said, I don't focus, I don't follow, I don't associate with low vibration, especially when it comes to demeaning people and putting people down just because you think you are better, for whatever the reason it is. So again, that's the stuff that we have to look at. So as the topic is, are you ready for your next president? And I don't want to just bash on him now with Harris, like you stated, earlier, with all the issues when she was attorney general and she was putting the majority of the black males or high percentage of black males in prison. A lot of that stuff got swept under the rug because that nut is acting out and everybody's focusing on what he's saying. And nobody's truly looking at the history of her politics. So we have to look at her too and look at, okay, what her background was and what her stance is on certain issues. So we can't get blinded by the fact that we got a disrespectful, racist candidate. We got to focus on both. And I know KJ said it's the lesser of two evils, but as the topic is, are you ready for the next president?
So I want to say this, man, and everybody out there that's listening and watching. So I'm gonna try to make this make sense and make it clear what I'm about to say. When I say this, and I was listening and I was thinking, because I didn't do that much history, so I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I know everything on Harris. But the thing that's making me scratch my head is she was not an original candidate to run for president.
Mm-hmm.
So even though Trump, I don't want Trump, I don't support Trump, but we got to really take into consideration on what is she really standing for, because she was forced into that role because the other, what's the name, is damn near about to go see now. So she was forced. So do you really think everything she's doing is a script, or that's her passionately talking about what she
Exactly.
wants for this country? Because she wasn't an original candidate. So this
Right.
ain't stuff that she had planned out, that she was
Hmm.
thinking or setting up to say, this is what I want to do for this country. This is something that they wrote and scripted, said, here, this is what you're gonna say. This is what I
Hmm.
want you to do. I want you to go on these shows and represent this country, represent your black community, even though you really don't care about your black community, but you need to support that because we don't want that asshole in there. So that's the only hesitation that I had with her is because she was forced into that role. So we learning on the go about her. So how much history do we really know about her other than what they put out there for us to know? So that's the only reason why I'm like, in a sense, yeah, she might be better than Trump, but how much do we really know about her to know that she's going to really fight for us once she get elected? That's the only hesitation I have is this lady was not supposed to be the president or run for the president. So even though that happened back in what I believe was June or
Hmm.
August, and she actually got
Yeah.
officially nominated in the summertime. So you had 4 months to prepare to be ready to become president of this country.
Right.
And you're gonna tell me she was ready for that. I don't believe that. So I feel like everything's a script. She's going off a script. So how much of this is really her being true and owning
Hmm.
it? And I could be completely wrong, but again, let me repeat this. That's the only pushback I have because I'm curious on what is our real values because the way she became a candidate
Hmm.
to be president. I really think about it. Her and then you have Trump. That's it. Ain't nobody else good enough to run this country. So we screwed because there's nobody else that has the credentials. So you got to get a racist, prejudice, male chauvinist man on the other side, and you got to get somebody that you know a little bit about, but not enough
Right.
about to run this country. So, like I said, it's going to be interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. So that's a good point you brought up, and that's why I was saying that that interview
With Shannon was really interesting to me because the hell did I go?
I don't know. I see the mic.
Yeah, it was real interesting to me because I've never heard her really speak passionately about what she, stood for and what her policy is. I mean, it's different when you want to debate and stuff like that. But with Shannon, it was more like a personal one-on-one thing and just like conversating like what we're doing. And to me, she spoke passionately about what she believed in. And you could tell it was coming from within. That wasn't like something that somebody said, look, this is the agenda you need to follow. I think
Right.
she was speaking from the heart and she was speaking from a place of values and morals that she represent. And I think now she's starting to step into that. But originally, like you said, when she first was kind of forced into it, and she was asked or whatever the case was, I do believe she was kind of probably following Biden's agenda as far as what he was going to go forward with. But I think now that she got into the campaign and it started to pick up and time went on, I do believe she started to initiate things that she feels as though would be good, to bring to the country. So I kind of agree with you on that, but I disagree just for the simple fact that when I watched that interview, like I said, I'm big on energy and stuff like that. So
Right.
she was coming from a place of seriousness to me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I I say in the beginning, yeah, but not so much now.
Right.
But this is the other thing that I was thinking about, and President Obama said this, and he was candid. He was like, of course, when I was president, I wanted to focus on, people that look like me because I come from that community. And he was like, but I had to sit back and ask myself, okay, you're a leader of people, not of one particular group. And he said it was a challenging position because even though you do see one side is unproportionately treated a certain type of way, he still had to be able to run this country or put policies in place, whatever it is, for everybody, that's a part of it. And that's the difference between him and Kamala is they speak of everybody as one, opposed to the other guy where he's putting down different groups. Now, it might sound like I'm contradicting myself, but this is where I push back and I go back on what you was talking about with Kamala. Before she became president, before she became this candidate to run, in her past, she always spoke freely about being part Indian or part Asian. When she was on Shannon's show, she made it known that she was black. She would call herself, "I'm a black female. I'm a black African." She never mentioned anything about being of was it Asian? She's part Asian, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I think she's part Asian. Like when Trump was talking about, I never heard that she said she was black. Now all of a sudden she's black. She never said it before, and she did. She never actually openly, accepted that. But when she was on Shannon, she made it be known, "I'm a black female." I mean, she did go to a HBCU, but that don't really mean anything. But the point I'm making is, now that she's running, the things that she spoke on before is totally different now, because I think she's doing just like Trump. She's targeting the audience. She's trying to target black people to try to pull in those votes. But the main thing I just wanted to focus on just right now is that I just want people to think about this. Again, you have one person or one candidate that's trying to separate people, and you got the other side that's thinking of other people. But just I want y'all to think about this. Now, black people are the lowest percentage or amount of people in the United States out of all minorities. There's more Asian Americans, it's 22% of the population. There's more Latino Hispanic, which is 16%, and we're at 11%. So again, just think about that. And it makes sense now. It was a while back, and Biden passed that law for the was it not criminal, but hate act against the Asian community. And I was like, really? Don't nobody hate on them. I never seen them getting beat up or, treated a certain type of way. But they are a larger population of the United States than we are. We're the lowest percentage of minorities, just total, in the United States. We're only at 11%. So this goes back to the conspiracy theory for me, as far as what turning black males into homosexuals, can't reproduce. The largest number of the population is growing is Asian. They're at 22%. They grew over, I think, 5% within the last year. And the Hispanic community is growing too. But the Asian community is the largest growing race in the United States. So just think about it. When everybody think everything is fine and dandy, and there's nothing wrong with men being gay or whatever the case is, if men are not reproducing, black males that is, and we're already at a low percentage, and we're already getting disproportionately put in jail, just let that marinate and think about it and see where it's going. And then going back to what we was talking about last week with the robots. And they got a lot of immigrants coming in. Wake up, black people. Wake up.
Okay. So I'm gonna go backwards a little bit. And I did see clips of the Shannon and Shay Shay. Now, I saw her, she did seem transparent. She did seem more of a understandable person you can relate to, but the only problem I had with that is, and you said it somewhat, you touched on it, is when you say she want to target the black community. Now, the reason why I have a little because Shannon Sharp's show has been so controversial lately, like I wouldn't hold that to say that's credibility. Now, the pivot where Obama was at, I respect the pivot more with Clark and the other two brothers. I mean, I watched Shay Shay, but his show's been so controversial. And then when people get on there, they get on there to kind of
bash people.
yeah. So when she was on there, it was more or less me. She's trying to reach the black people to say, "Hey, I am black. I'm trying to relate to you guys. See, I'm one of y'all." Which why wouldn't you? Who wouldn't? But to me, nothing worse than somebody that's a pretender.
Yeah.
And I know you said that that seems genuine because you feeling her energy. But again, I'm gonna say this one last time, then I'm gonna let it go. Before that, and you said it yourself, she didn't represent. She wasn't claiming she was black. So because you trying to be the president, that's to me is an insult because now you want to be one of us and be like, hey, look, see, I'm just like y'all. That's like a brother that hang with with white people and Hispanics all day. And then when he want to fit in, he want to go hang with the brothers and be like, see, I'm one of y'all, man, and try to talk like we talk. No, do that consistently, and then I have more respect for you. Then I have more trust, more than respect. Then I trust you. So that's the only concern I have with her. I'm not saying she's not qualified. It's just a concern because where were you before all of this? That's the only concern I have. But to be ready for the president that's coming, better brace up because it's going to be a ride, whoever is in there. And this is another thing I'm going to say who's voting now. And my friend and I, we both agreed on this. We got to stop thinking that the only way we vote is for the president. It's your Congress and your senators. Because that House of Representatives is the ones that we need to focus on. Because if they win the House and it's more Republicans, it don't matter if Harris is in there. So when we vote, guys, we got to make sure we're looking at the whole ballot and make sure you're putting Democrats in there. If that's really, if you truly going to vote the right way, make sure that you voting for senators that's Democrat. Because if we all vote for Harris, but then nobody votes correctly for the Senate and Congress, then what was the whole point? So just keep that in mind, guys. I'm not saying nobody didn't know that, but just remember, because that's the most important part of this election is who's going to be in the House of Representatives, because they're the ones that's going to get the last decision anyway. You know what I mean? The president has something to say, but they're the ones that literally vote for everything on what laws need to be passed. So think about who your Congress and governors are in your state and who is that you want to be in your state, because each state is different. I live in good old Texas, where this is not a country, it's not a state, it's a country. There's their own little world down here. So the governor here be doing shit totally different from every other state. So we need to think about that when we put the president, who you putting as your governor for your state, because these state governors this is one of the worst states when it comes to that. It's Texas. So
that's funny because everybody
here. Huh?
I say that's funny because everybody say that about their state. Florida say about their state, that's the worst governor.
Yeah.
Now, I want to be remiss without saying this. I'll keep turning the camera around.
Okay, so I just want to touch on something that Christina said. She said, we are so screwed. All right, so Christina, like I always say,
what?
Our intent is not to pump or put out fear. All right, so this is not fear mongering. So I don't want you or anybody else to get petrified. I'm like, oh my God, we're so screwed. Because like I always say, what I believe in anyway, is that we control our own destiny, we control our own universe, and we control our reality. Now, this is what I'm getting to with that. I know, Mark, you say vote for congressmen and stuff like that and House of Representatives. I totally agree with that because that's the system that we're under. But this is where I push back. I don't believe in politics. I think it's good for certain things, but I think we as the people should be able to regulate ourselves. And I deal with applicants every day, and it's mind-boggling how lost these people are. And I sit back and I promise you, I say to myself, I know why now that the politicians take advantage of people, because they don't think for themselves. Most people, and like I said, I don't care what degree you have. I deal with doctors, judges, attorneys, lawyers, every high profession out there. And these people have no freaking clue. they're lost. And that's the whole intent, is to keep us separated and keep us divided, because the government is only ran because of the people. It's the power of the people that runs this country. And if you got everybody divided against each other, it's going to fall. A divided house is not going to stand. So it's intentional to keep us against each other, because they don't want us to wake up and realize we are creator guys. We can create our own reality. And once you understand that and accept it, you're not going to need them. And then once you don't need them, they lose power. And that's what they want. They want power. So don't be scared. We have to focus on who we are first. Realize that we are creative guys. We create our own reality. Once you do that, you should be able to function in this world without being a terrible person, and you feel as though you have to rely on somebody else to help you. We all should be self-sufficient in a sense of we should be able to build, cook, clean, whatever the case is, to function on an everyday basis. We should be able to do that individually ourselves. And I was talking about this the other day, Mark. You remember when we was in school, what did they teach you? Home ec. They had plumbing, they had electricity, they had masonry, they had carpentry. They gave you all the self-sustaining skills to allow a person to function without relying on an outside source. But then those CEOs like, hold up. And the politicians like, no. Y'all taking power away from us. We need the power. Remember, the people that's rich in this country, it's only 1%. So we outnumber them. So just think about that. There's only 1% of the population that's supposedly affluent and have all this money. So just think of it in the sense of there's 334 million people, and it's only 1% of that are rich or super rich. Do you think if you're in that situation, knowing that if you allow the people to realize the power that they have, they're going to overthrow you, and then you will be the minority? Just think about that. 1%, and they got us killing each other, hating each other, fighting for scraps, while these jokers are living a life. That's crazy. 1% of 334 million people. So don't be scared. We have to first look within ourselves. Like I always say, ascend to our higher selves, and we won't need those jokers. We should be able to function without an outside source. Like I said, with certain things, I do understand you have to have those in place. But every single thing, we should not have to depend on somebody else. You should be able to move and function without that. So that's just my 2 cents on that. I'm just going to say my piece, and then Mark, you can close it out. So like the topic is, are you ready for your next president? In my opinion, whatever happens, whether it's Harris or Trump, we brought this on ourselves. It's a product of who we are. Whatever's in front of us is a reflection of who we are. So everybody have to look within themselves and ask themselves, what is it I'm doing that's allowing someone like this or them to be a representation? They only supposed to be a representation of who we are. Just let that marinate. They're a representation of supposedly of who we are. So who they are is who we are. Only thing they doing is just showing the United States, this is who you are. Wake up, do something, do the right thing, and then things will change.
Well, good luck on who you guys vote for. No, just but yeah, on that note, yeah, just I hope you are ready. Yeah, it's going to happen regardless. So I mean, whatever the outcome is going to be, you won't have no choice but to be ready for it and deal with it and move forward with it. But you perfectly said it, that they represent us, and that's kind of reflection of who we are. So it reflects on who you vote for, because that's your beliefs and what you believe in. So we all know who we voting for. So guys, just kind of echoing the same thing, but be ready. What you vote for is what you're gonna get. So you get what you get. And at the end of the day, we all want to live with that. So good luck, everybody. And hope we all make the right decision and just sit back and wait and see what happens. So y'all have a great weekend. Remember the clocks go back so we get that
Oh,
extra
that's
hour
right.
of sleep. So y'all enjoy y'all weekend, guys, and we'll see you next week.
All right. Until next time, beautiful people.
Love, peace. You create